Yes, I think we knew before Threads that the employees are what determines the culture. We can help cultivate that or help try and move that culture if it needs to be. When Threads came along though, we said, oh my gosh, now we can measure it. And before that we didn't really have a good way to measure it, but now we can actually look at our performance reviews and say, this person is a cultural fit or this person is not a cultural fit. When I started, I've been here 7.5 years, and we started on paper, and we had 7 or 8 people fill out a review on paper. And then from then I took it from paper to Excel, and then it went from Excel to SurveyMonkey. But it was always the same, you know, on a Likert scale from 1 to 5, how is this person performing? And almost everybody would put a 3. You know, so it's everything at the end would balance out to this person is average, or sometimes it was this person is above average. You know, so that I would say the results weren't really something that somebody could sit down and relate to. They might look at some of the comments and say, okay, this is a good thing, but then they might look at another comment and say, but this outweighs that. And so all in all, I'm a pretty decent employee. So you couldn't really pull out those really specific things and say, this is what you need to work on. You can, but they might not necessarily take that away with them. Performance reviews are really looked at as a pain for our management team to fill out. You know, I'd have to say, 6 or 7 people, please fill out this review on this one person. So then you've got 6 or 7 people filling it out, but who's owning it? I am. I'm the one who's owning it for every employee. You know, and that's not, that gets pretty hard when your team grows from 60 people to 120 people. So what I love about Threads is that one person owns it, and it's that person that works primarily with that other person. But I love that other people can provide their input with the comment section and say, this is my experience with this person. And then that reviewer can look at those comments and say, okay, based on this is how I'm going to rate this person. But what really stood out to me particularly, and I know also to our team, is the grid. It's to look at it and say, you fall within this quadrant, this quadrant, this quadrant, or this quadrant. And from there you can determine what you need to do with that employee. And that employee can figure out what they need to do to improve. It was very easy. I think anytime you implement a new thing and it's such a big thing, you're going to have some folks who are a little resistant to the change. I wouldn't say adverse once you came in and did the training and said, this is what it's about, this is why we're doing it. I think that the overall process has been great. We've been on it for 1.5 years now almost. So actually implementing it, getting everyone in the system, getting everyone trained was really easy. I think Threads opens up that door to have those conversations, specifically related to performance issues or core value issues. I think sometimes it was hard to differentiate those two with our old performance review process, but this one allows us to really say, that's the problem. I think a lot of times you couldn't pinpoint what it was about that employee that was the issue, but as you're filling this out and you're looking at the results, you're saying, oh, well, clearly here's the problem. You know, so that employee can look at it and say, gosh, I got a 5 on passion. What's that about? You know, and then you can talk about those things, whereas before you wouldn't necessarily have that discussion. For me, I think the comment section probably provides the best value overall. For the ability for anyone in the team to go and leave feedback for anybody is really, I think, is really great. They love it. They love the opportunity that every week they can see something happened or something good happened, whether, like I said, something good or something bad, and they can sit down and meet with that employee and say, hey, you got 5 great comments, or I saw something come through on Threads that maybe we need to talk about, and you can address it right then. I would say try it. Try it for 6 months. If you hate it, scrap it and go to the other one. Chances are they're gonna love it. You know, I think really where we found a lot of the, okay, we made the right decision, was in talking with our team members and saying, how is this process better than our old process? And them saying, I take a lot more out of these reviews than I ever used to. Okay. So I don't know, we're kind of risk takers here in terms of taking a chance on a new company if it makes sense. I also really appreciate the fact that you were a manager, you were a reviewer, and so that's where it's coming from. It's not coming from Silicon Valley and people saying, well, this is what we think we should do. It's you saying, this is what I saw in my organization, and this is what would have really helped me in my organization.